Welcome back to P&P Tonight. Our main story this evening, major drama heating up in Hertfordshire. Mrs. Bennet is worried about her daughters finding security within their marriages. Charles Bingley and Jane have some serious relationship issues. Does she really love him? And later, we explore the dynamic between Lizzie Bennet and Mr. Darcy. Is he a loyal companion or a proud arse? We will uncover the truth behind Mr. Wickham's dark past and how he tried to steal the inheritance of Georgiana Darcy when she was only 15. Furthermore, Mr. Collins practically drooling on Lady Catherine for approval. And will Lizzie accept his proposal? We dish out all the gossip going on in 1809 Hertfordshire. On the scene is our reporter, Jensen Younger, with more information. Jensen?
We're here on the scene of plot and character development, where we'll be discussing the Bennet family and their partners. A witness to the scene, Mr. Juffer, is here to discuss his take on the dynamic between Mr. and Mrs. Bennet. Mr. Juffer?
Mr. Bennet is a tired man, as being a father to 5 girls can be quite difficult. Add in the fact that he's married to a nervous, treacherous woman and lives in a home with no indoor plumbing, and you can imagine the kind of man that he is. Mrs. Bennet is demanding, shallow, and only concerned with marrying off her daughters to subpar men with some form of money. And maybe, sometimes after a long day of teaching calculus, a man would like to come home to a mouse-free apartment, and would it be too much to ask to have a string cheese all to myself?
And is there a Mrs. Bennet of your own in your life? Colleen, back to you.
That was disturbing. And now the weather. In Netherfield, a report from resident Charles Bingley states that temps are rising, and so is his net worth. Nearly £5,000 now. Ladies are swooning over this eligible bachelor. At the Pemberley estate, a chance of rain, as well as romance. Meanwhile, in Hertfordshire, things are turning chilly for Mrs. Bennet, a resident of Longbourn, as she realizes she doesn't have nearly enough lace and ribbons to impress the other women of the community. We have also just gotten word that the population of Hertfordshire is rising as Mr. Bingley, Mr. Darcy, and Miss Bingley arrive and hope to host a ball. Jensen Younger is reporting live from Hertfordshire at the ball with the scoop. Jensen, back to you.
Thanks, Colleen. Tonight's the night, and many a young maiden are hoping to dance twice with a prospective partner. Here to talk to us about things obviously heating up between Miss Jane Bennet and Mr. Charles Bingley is Miss Gracie Dog Vic, who's obviously not a dog and has read the book before. Gracie?
I was there, and boy did I see Mr. Bingley dance twice with the first Miss Bennet. Quite the scandal, though, when I overheard Mr. Darcy say Elizabeth Bennet was not charming enough to tempt him.
Thank you, Gracie. Now we're back to Colleen in the studio. Colleen?
In other news, famous poet Elaine Shetty has written a new poem, Love So Amazing, to be read to our viewers tonight. She writes, "My love for you is like the raging sea, so powerful and deep it will forever be. Through storm, wind, and heavy rain, it will withstand every pain. Our hearts are so pure and love so sweet. I love you more with every heartbeat." Thanks, Elaine. You know, that poem reminds me of the drama in Hertfordshire and Pemberley. The relationship between Lizzie and Darcy is a love similar to a raging sea, hitting high points and low points very dramatically like the waves. In the words of Elizabeth Bennet, a lady's imagination is very rapid. It jumps from admiration to love, from love to matrimony in a moment. Despite Mr. Darcy's pride, he still admits his love for Lizzie. Even though Lady Catherine doesn't approve of their marriage, Darcy does not care. And this shows that their love for each other can withstand everything. Both Jane and Mr. Bingley have pure intentions for each other, and their love is very tender and pure. This just in, Lydia Bennet has run off with Mr. Wickham in hopes of getting married. Mr. Wickham has requested a large sum for Lydia's hand, which has been paid by a secret benefactor.
My bets are on Uncle Gardner.
I'd have to tastefully disagree and say that it's without a doubt Mr. Darcy. Next week, tune in for a special covering the tone-deaf Mary Bennet and the unhealthy relationship between Lydia and her older sister Kitty, who mimics everything she does. Will Kitty take the punishment for Lydia's marriage to Mr. Wickham? And what happens between Lady Catherine and Lizzie late one night? We'll tell all on PNP tonight. Thanks for tuning in.